How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal, and yeah, I realized something today. Well, a few days ago, actually. I realized that over the course of this blog, and all the time I've been giving you guys all of my meager game knowledge, that I hadn't talked in length about Contra. Why? I don't know. But I just hadn't talked about Contra. Well, let's correct that, shall we? Let's hop into the Wayback Machine, and we're gonna go to 1988. Arcades were still viable, and Konami was a relatively hot producer of home and arcade games. They, at this point, were responsible for Gradius, Time Pilot, Scramble, Frogger, Jackal, Double Dribble, Blades of Steel, and a few other games. Well, Konami wanted to make a run and gun action game, and so they crafted Contra. And Contra, it was just designed to be a quarter muncher, something that you could drop in a local arcade, and it would generate all kinds of revenue for the owner of the machine, because it was a brutally hard shooter. Well, nobody ever expected this, but Contra became popular, so much so that it warranted a home conversion. And it popped up on the NES, the Famicom, and a few other consoles. And they reworked a few things. Konami reworked a few things, made it more viable for the home audience to get into it and enjoy it. Made the levels longer. Gave us the greatest Easter egg in gaming history with the 30-man code. Stuff like that. Well, over the years, and I'm sure no one at Konami ever foresaw how popular this game would end up being. But the Contra series has spawned a number of sequels and has become one of the most popular action game series of all time. It's popped up everywhere from, like I said, the NES, IBM PC, the Amstrad CPC, the Spectrum ZX, Commodore 64. Contra was everywhere over the years. It's been everywhere over the years, and it gave us a number of conventions, things that we have relatively taken for granted over the years. The spread shot, multiple power-ups in a game, in a shooter. The spread shot is one of the most recognizable power-ups in gaming history, and it got its start in Contra. But 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games in the series. Those 12 games, 13 games. Sorry about that. But those 13 games in the core Contra series, with the exception of one or two of them not being very good, Contra has probably one of the best ratios of really good to bad games in the history of gaming. Now they all share one thing in common though. They're all brutally hard. But that works though. It works for that series, because the Contra series was never designed to be a cakewalk. it was never designed to be something that you could pop in and an hour later you beat it and you never wanted to play it again because you didn't get anything out of it. It was one of those things where it was designed to push you. It was an endurance test. It was like the training montage from Rocky 4. That's what I akin the Contra series to. And many of the more popular action games that are around today owe their existence to the creators of those games at one point or another playing one of the Contra games. I truly believe that. I got a real strong feeling that Cliff Bleszinski and the guys and girls at Epic played a lot of Contra over the years and decided that Gears of War had to be a run and gun action game and not a first person shooter. I truly believe that the guys at Bungie, when they created the first Marathon game, Marathon, the grandfather of Halo, that when they created the Marathon games, that they at some point played Contra. All of these action games, at some point, they owe something to the Contra series. And none of us as gamers should ever forget that fact. Now, if you've never played a game in the Contra series, I sincerely apologize. But there are a number of ways you can track these games down. Most of them, save for maybe the 2 on PS1, which are probably the weakest games in the series. Most of them are reasonably priced, unless you run across some idiot reseller on eBay that's jacking up the price out the wazoo. But I heartily recommend if you have an Xbox 360, a Wii, or a PlayStation 3. Contra Rebirth is on WiiWare. Hard Corps Uprising is on PSN and XBLA. And Contra 4 is on the DS. Those are 3 Contra games that you can probably find right now that are readily available. And all 3 of them are excellent games. In all honesty, Contra Rebirth blew me away because it was so close to what Contra 3 gave me. And I'm not going to keep you guys much longer because I want you to go out there, find a game in the Contra series. My personal favorites are the original Contra, Contra 3 on the Super NES, Contra Hard Corps on the Sega Genesis, and Contra Rebirth. But I heartily recommend that you pick up the Contra games and enjoy them to your heart's content. This is the 8-Bit Animal, and yeah, the spread shot, greatest thing ever.